What is civil engineering? To design public infrastructure which increases prosperity, shelter, transportation, water, and only the few can achieve these heights. So hey guys, welcome to my channel. Civil engineers, those are engaged in different construction activities of huge projects, have to refer a good number of IS codes. So the Indian standard codes are the codes that are used for the civil engineers in India. For what? For the purpose of design and analysis of civil engineering structures such as buildings, dams, roads, and many more other types of structures. So for civil engineers, there are more than 20 IS codes available. Now from those IS codes, some are frequently used and some are occasionally used by the construction engineers. So now, without wasting much more time, let's begin with the very important code first. That is, as you all can see, Indian Standard 456-2000, and this video would be a part 1 of it. So, at the very first, now let's get clear with what actually the code is about. It is an IS code of practice for plain and reinforced concrete structures, and one thing I find important to remember about this is it gives extensive information on various aspects of concrete. So it has 5 sections and 8 annexure. So these are the different types of sections which we are going to go through. Yeah, these are the 5 sections, and the section 1 doesn't contain any important detail which I find we should not discuss about. So we will be continuing with the section 2, that is materials. So the first material, or we can say the main material of civil engineering, or which comes to our mind, is what? Cement. So before going into deep, let's get clear with basic. So here, as you can see, I have mentioned a table of chemical composition of cement. So what cement contains? 63% of lime, 22% of silica, 6% of alumina, and 3% of iron oxide, and between 1 to 4% of gypsum. So let's continue. Here you can see the 3 different grades of OPC. Now what do I mean by OPC? OPC means ordinary Portland cement. Portland cement is the most basic and the most commonly used cement in world, and it is made by adding gypsum into clinkers. Now this OPC has 3 grades, as you can see, the 33 grade, 43 grade, and 53 grade. Now these grades are differentiated by what? These are differentiated by compressive strength and are expressed in Newton per mm square. Yes, most commonly used. And what now the important thing, that what this 33 grade indicate? The 33 grade, 43 and the 53 grade, what does that indicate? It indicates that the compressive strength of cement after 28 days will be 33 Newton per mm square if we are using the 33 grade OPC. Similarly, if we are using 43 grade OPC, the compressive strength of cement after 28 days will be how much? 43 Newton per mm square. So here, as you can see, I have mentioned a table. All the 3 different types of grades which will gain compressive strength in the following number of days. So for example, 43 grade will gain 23 Newton per mm square minimum strength in 3 days. It will gain 33 Newton per mm square minimum strength in 7 days, and at last 43 Newton per mm square minimum strength in 28 days. Similarly for 33 grade and 53 grade. Moving on to the next. Okay, so here we have the rapid hardening Portland cement, also known as the RHC. Now I would like to discuss a bit about it and the points that should be kept in our mind. Okay, so RHC develop strength at a higher rate as compared to the OPC, ordinary Portland cement. Now, one main point we need to look at: the strength produced by the RHC after 2 days will be equal to 7 days strength by OPC. So now here you can see how fastly, how rapidly, how quickly this cement gains strength. And one more important point, that is initial setting time for these RHC will be 60 minutes, and RHC will gain 30% of its compressive strength in how many hours? In its first 24 hours. So moving on to the next. Okay, so here you can see other 4 types of cements. Portland pozzolana cement, also known as PPC. Portland slag cement, also known as PHC. Now PSC is a combination of 45 to 50% of slag, 45 to 50% of clinkers, and 3 to 5% of gypsum. Moving on to the next, hydrophobic cement. It has the initial setting time as 30 minutes and final setting time as 600 minutes, approximately 10 hours. Moving on to low heat Portland cement, that has initial setting time as 60 minutes and final setting time as 12 hours maximum. Moving on to the next. Okay, so here we have the next material as aggregate. So when we are using aggregates for the construction, the aggregate shall obey with the requirements of IS 383. Now what is this IS 383? So roughly I'll be mentioning that IS 383 is the specification for coarse and fine aggregates from natural sources. Okay, next. And when we are using these aggregates, more preference should be given to natural aggregates. Moving on to the next. So here we have slag and crushed overburnt bricks. Slag and crushed overburnt bricks can also be termed as aggregates. Now when we are using this aggregates, it will give good strength, it will give durability, good durability of concrete. It can be used for plain concrete members, but one thing to be kept in mind while using this aggregates is it should not contain more than 0.5% of sulfates. Okay, so next we have size of aggregates. So few points to discuss. In most of the work, 20 mm aggregate is suitable, and when there is no restriction to the flow of concrete into sections, 40 mm or larger size can be used. Plumps. Okay, so plumps, simply I mean that large stones which are known as boulders, or we can say the coarse aggregates. So the coarse aggregates above 160 mm can be used in plain concrete work. Okay, so here we have the next material, water. We all know that potable water should be used for mixing concrete, and this is a thing to be kept in mind. In simple words, water that is used for mixing and curing shall be clean. It should be free from the injurious amounts of salts, sugar, acid, and other materials that may damage concrete or steel. And the most important, the pH value of water shall not be less than 6. Okay, so here we have the next materials termed as admixtures. Admixtures are natural or manufactured chemicals which are added to concrete before or during mixing to change its properties in various ways. So here I have mentioned in this slide few points that should be kept in mind. When we are using admixtures, those admixtures should obey or follow the rules with IS 9103. It should not combine, or it should not damage the durability of concrete. It should not combine with the constituents or the ingredients and form the harmful compounds, nor it should increase the risk of corrosion of reinforcement. Okay, so the last material and the last topic to discuss is reinforcement. Okay, so the reinforcement which are used for the construction shall be free from the loose rust, paints, or any other substance that may reduce the bond. And the most important point that should be kept in mind in terms of reinforcement is the modulus of elasticity of steel shall be taken as 200 kilonewton per mm square. So that's all for today. See you in my next video with some new and important topic.